My name is S. Ashok Kumar. Welcome to my channel. In the last part, I explained about the transport of oxygen. That include a ODC also. I explained oxygen dissociation curve. In this part, I am going to tell about the transport of carbon dioxide. Actually, this carbon dioxide in the blood transport in three forms. Oxygen transport in two forms. Carbon dioxide transport in three forms. First one in the form of bicarbonate ion, that is I am writing within brackets bicarbonate, that is 70% of carbon dioxide. 70% of the carbon dioxide in our body transport in the form of bicarbonate. Okay, what are the advantages? With why carbon dioxide is transporting maximum amount of carbon dioxide transport in the form of bicarbonate. First one, when compared with the carbon dioxide, this bicarbonate is a less toxic because carbon dioxide is a toxic comparatively. Then bicarbonate is a more soluble than carbon dioxide. As we know, greater the soluble, greater the rate of diffusion. Means carbon dioxide you can easily send out of the body and transport easily from different tissues. It has to transport up to the lungs. If it is a more soluble, easy to transport. The next important thing about the bicarbonate is in the blood, bicarbonate is to maintain blood pH. These are the reasons why maximum, that is the 70% of the carbon dioxide transport in the form of bicarbonate. Second form is like, that is a carbamino hemoglobin. That means by associating with a hemoglobin. That is 20 to 25% of carbon dioxide is a transport by combines with the hemoglobin. But in case of oxygen, 97% of the oxygen transport by association with the hemoglobin. The next one is in the dissolved state. Dissolved state in plasma, in the blood you can call. That is remaining, if you take this is a 23%, you can call 7% of carbon dioxide. So these are the different forms of, and I said carbon dioxide transport in the form of three forms. That is the first one in the form of bicarbonate, in the form of associating with the hemoglobin and dissolved state. Now this I am going to explain to you in well way. Carbon dioxide is a transport from the tissues towards the lungs. Yes or no? Opposite, oxygen will transport from the lungs towards the tissues. Now this is a transport of carbon dioxide. So this is the tissue. Okay na? This is a tissue. Already I wrote. Consider this is the RBC. This is the RBC. This is the outside. This outside you consider as it is a plasma. Means outside, liquid portion of the blood. For example, consider 100% of the carbon dioxide produced by the tissues. Carbon dioxide 100%. Slowly you can follow. It's very easy thing. Then from these tissues, the carbon dioxide enters into the RBC, CO2. Before that, there is a carbon dioxide 7% get dissolved. Where? In plasma. So 7% of the carbon dioxide get dissolved in the plasma. So how much remaining percent? That is a 93%. Okay, now following up. Out of these 93%, what I said, 70% of carbon dioxide I am taking. Remaining I will take you later. Then associating with the water to form, very important, H2CO3. That is a carbonic acid. H2CO3. This reaction is mediating by one important enzyme that is a carbonic anhydrase. You can remember that is a Ca, stands Ca. Ca stands for carbonic anhydrase. That is a zinc metal ion, zinc containing enzyme, that is a carbonic anhydrase enzyme. Once that carbonic acid is formed, that is a very unstable, that get dissociate into H plus HCO3 minus. That is a bicarbonate ion. The same thing. Automatically carbonic acid get dissociate. First you take this bicarbonate ion. Once the bicarbonate ion is formed within the RBC, now this bicarbonate ion will enters into the plasma. Okay, wait there. Here the important thing is that conceptually you need to understand, if one bicarbonate ion is entered into the plasma, there is no much change in the ionic balance of the plasma or blood. But what you need to remember is, in 1 second, carbonic anhydrase can produce 6 lakh of carbonic acids. That is the kcat value of carbonic anhydrase is 6 lakh. Means 1 second there is a formation of 6 lakh carbonic acids. That number of 6 lakh bicarbonate, they enters into the blood, automatically there is a complete change in the ionic balance of the blood. In order to compensate, what is happening? When this one bicarbonate ion enters into the plasma, simultaneously from the plasma, one chloride ion is entered into the RBC. Then it makes the ionic balance. One anion is coming out, one anion is going, negatively charged, one anion is entering into the RBC. Definitely it will occur through transporter. This transporter is called as a chloride bicarbonate anion exchanger. This is definitely antiport. One molecule is coming out, one anion is going out. Antiport, moving in the opposite direction. Because of this one, in the tissues, that ionic balance of the blood is maintained. This one is called as a chloride shift. This is important one. Chloride shift. Chloride shift also called as a Hamburgers phenomenon. What is importance of this chloride shift or Hamburgers phenomenon? This chloride shift explains how ionic balance of the blood takes place at the tissues. Okay. Once the bicarbonate is entered, this bicarbonate ion associates the sodium. As we know, plasma containing the highest quantity of sodium to form sodium bicarbonate. So, this is about how much percentage? 70%. 70% of the carbon dioxide is there in the form of sodium bicarbonate. Okay, na? That is responsible for maintaining the blood pH. Now, comes to take the H plus ions. This H plus ion, what is happening, when it reaches to the tissues, hemoglobin with oxygen, oxyhemoglobin, then oxygen get dissociate, that oxygen enter into the tissue simultaneously, okay? Carbon dioxide entering oxygen, then hemoglobin become vacant now. This H plus ion combine to form HbH plus. This one is called as a hemoglobinic acid. HbH plus is a hemoglobinic acid. What is the importance of the formation of hemoglobinic acid? When compared with the hemoglobin as a normal molecule, hemoglobinic acid is a more affinity towards the oxygen. So for rapid binding, this hemoglobinic acid is rapidly accept the oxygen. That is the advantage. Now going to that one. So 7% is over, 70% over. What about the remaining percent? The remaining percent is 23% of the carbon dioxide now. So what is happening? So already I said, when it reaches to this one, oxyhemoglobin get dissociate, then hemoglobin, oxygen. That oxygen enters into the tissues. Okay. Then this carbon dioxide combines hemoglobin to form the HbCO2. That is a carbaminohemoglobin. This is how much percentage? 23%. You are following it. 70% of the carbon dioxide there in the form of bicarbonate. It will move along with the blood. Then 23% associated with the hemoglobin transport in the RBC. 7% of the carbon dioxide in the dissolved state, it passes along with the blood. In these three forms of the carbon dioxide, total 100%, it flow, finally reaches to the tissues. That is, finally reaches to the alveoli. Now, this RBC, these three forms of this particular carbon dioxide will reach us to the alveoli. Three forms of carbon dioxide finally reaches to the alveoli. So now this is the RBC in the plasma. This is the plasma. This is the alveoli. Okay. Then here what is happening? First we will take from the least. 7% of the carbon dioxide present in the dissolved state. Now, once it reaches to the alveoli, as we know, there is a concentration gradient. Okay, between alveoli it is a 40%. In the blood, deoxygenated blood, that is a 45%. Because of that one, automatically that 7% of the carbon dioxide comes out. Means enters into the alveoli. Okay, 7% came out. Next one, remaining 23% of the carbon dioxide present in the by combines with the hemoglobin. That is a carbaminohemoglobin. HbCO2. Correct na? When in this situation, carbon dioxide is entering into the alveoli, simultaneous oxygen is moving from alveoli to the RBC. What is happening? Oxygen enters here. That oxygen combines with the hemoglobin. Then HbO2, oxyhemoglobin. That time carbon dioxide will come out. Yes or no? This carbon dioxide comes out. That this is how much percentage? 23%. 7% came out and 23% is also came out. So remaining 70% of the carbon dioxide there in the plasma in the form of sodium bicarbonate. Here that sodium bicarbonate get dissociate into sodium ions plus bicarbonate. Now this bicarbonate enters into the RBC. Then what is happening? That bicarbonate, once it enter into the RBC, inside chlorine ion is there, na? That will, chlorine ion, that will comes out, Cl minus. This one is a through anion exchanger. This one is a reverse of that chloride shift. This one is a reverse chloride shift. Reverse chloride shift. What is importance of reverse chloride shift? Reverse chloride shift is explaining ionic balance of the blood at the alveoli. Chloride shift importance, it is explaining the ionic balance of the blood at tissues. Reverse chloride shift is occurring at the lungs, that is at the alveoli. Okay, na, sure, right? Then sir, that one is entered automatically. What is happening? By combines, there is HbH plus. There is required H plus ion associating with the hemoglobin. What I said, hemoglobinic acid is more affinity towards oxygen. Then that is associated with oxygen from this one. Then HbO2. Okay, na? Then H plus ions get easily dissociated from the hemoglobin. Then that will combine here, H plus ion. Results the formation of carbonic acid. Now it has to get dissociated now. That get dissociated in the H2O plus CO2. This reaction is also mediating the enzyme Ca, carbonic anhydrase. So carbonic anhydrase containing which metal ion? That is a zinc. So carbonic anhydrase is carrying the reversible reaction. It involves in the formation of the carbonic acid. Simultaneously, it can involve in the dissociation of carbonic acid also. So this bicarbonate, this is 70% of the carbon dioxide as usually comes out. That is a 70% of carbon dioxide. See this one, you can easily understand. So 70% of the carbon dioxide comes out. Here this is the 7% of the carbon dioxide. 20 this. So total carbon dioxide is coming out into the alveoli. After once it enters into the alveoli, you know, right? What do you know? That then exhalation will start, relaxation of the diaphragm, the external intercostal muscles, thereby the air present in the alveoli will comes out. This is a normal thing. Okay. So here I said the Bohr effect. Now I will tell you about the Haldane effect. Haldane effect. What is importance of Haldane effect? You know, effect of oxygen on dissociation of carbaminohemoglobin, that is HbCO2. That means what? When body is need more oxygen, otherwise when a person is doing the more exercise, more amount of carbon dioxide will produce. That carbon dioxide has to send it out. More amount of carbon dioxide we have to send it out. That is why what is happening? Simultaneously more amount of oxygen taken into the body. Both the same only. Here what is happening here? Because carbon dioxide is very dangerous to the body if it store, if it remains in the blood. That is why the carbon dioxide we have to send out as soon as possible. That is why what is happening when this HbCO2 is entering into the tissues, reach to the tissue, there is a deoxygenated blood reach to the tissues, automatically what is happening, you know, when the oxygen is a high concentration, it will go and binds with this carbaminohemoglobin, force the hemoglobin get dissociated from the carbon dioxide. Then more carbon dioxide is expelled out. That is the effect of oxygen on the dissociation of carbaminohemoglobin. This effect, this effect is called as a Haldane effect. Haldane effect explains more release of more carbon dioxide from the body. This is about the transport of carbon dioxide. Till now, if you understand the concept, you can like and share this video to your friends. Subscribe our channel. Definitely you will get questions from this topic in the NEET exam. So if you have any doubts about this chapter, comment below. Definitely I will respond to your questions. Thank you.